Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to COL's live webinar. I am Lorraine Reyes, and I will be your moderator for today's session. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we hope that you are all staying safe and healthy. So, in our previous webinar, we were able to guide you as to how you can get started with your investing journey through COL. So, for today, we have invited an industry expert who will talk about mutual funds and how it could make investing simple and easy for everyone. So, without further ado, let us all welcome our resource speaker. He is currently handling strategic efforts of the company and overseeing Call Fund Source, the first online mutual fund distribution platform in the Philippines. Previously, he was an investment analyst under BDO Trust and Investments Group, covering equity, fixed income, and macroeconomic research and strategy. He is a chartered financial analyst and holds a certificate in investment performance measurement designation. He was also awarded as the most promising CFA charter holder by the CFA Society of the Philippines in 2018. Let us all welcome the head of Call Fund Source, Mr. Mark Ilaw.
All right, thank you very much, Lorraine. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us in our webinar today. So this session is part of COL's investing webinar series that aims to essentially educate people about investing. And sana po this afternoon I'll be able to share with you some insights pagdating sa pag-invest, particularly about mutual funds. These past few months have been quite life-changing for all of us. Many of us in different ways, in many ways, naapektuhan po yung jobs, lifestyle natin. And I think ako personally, ang pinaka takeaway ko dyan is it's really important that we plan ahead for the future. And like I said, I hope this webinar will equip you with the knowledge to plan better for your future. Okay? So our seminar this afternoon is entitled Mutual Funds, the better and simpler way to grow your money. So pag-uusapan po natin ano yung mutual funds and bakit po sinasabi natin na better and simpler way to grow your money yan. On that note, let's start our webinar with this question. What are mutual funds? Ano nga po ba ang mutual funds? Mutual funds are actually a type of investment where as an investor, you pull together your money with other investors. So ibig sabihin po, parang nagbabakas-bakas tayo dyan, pinagsasama yung pera ng iba-ibang tao. And then the pooled money, yung pinagsama-samang pera ng mga tao, it is handled by what we call a fund manager or an expert who will then do the investing in different instruments. So meron pong maglalagay ng pera natin sa iba-ibang uri ng investment. Ang kagandahan po ng mutual fund is yung mga instruments or investments na usually you won't be able to access, you will be able to do so kasi pinagsasama-sama po yung pera ng iba-ibang tao. So that's what we call the strength in numbers. So mamaya po pag-uusapan natin kung ano yung iba-ibang uri ng investment na yan. Now, usually tinatanong sa akin ng mga tao, Sir, when I invest in a mutual fund, ano bang makukuha kung proof of participation dyan? Paano ko malalaman na investor na talaga ako? So, ang mangyayari po niyan, when you buy a mutual fund, bibigyan ka ng shares. And those shares will represent your ownership sa mutual fund. Okay? So, ganun po yung pag invest dyan. Now, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung mutual funds, minsan some people think that it's just one product. No? So, akala nila isang uri lang yan. But the truth is, there are actually different types of mutual funds. Iba-iba po yung variants niyan. So, meron po tayong tinatawag na equity funds. We also have money market funds, bond funds, and finally, balance funds. So, isa-isahin po natin yan. What are these types of mutual funds? And why they are best for you? So the first type of mutual fund is what we call a money market fund. Yan, ito pong money market fund, isa po siyang uri ng mutual fund where the money of investors are invested in what we call special savings accounts, time deposits, or deposit products. Essentially, ito po yung mga na-access nyo rin sa bangko. Ang kaibahan po and ang kagandahan nito is sa mutual fund kasi since pinagsasama nga yung pera ng mga tao, usually you get better rates compared to what you see with the banks. Okay? So yun po yung sinasabi nga natin kanina na strength in numbers. And this one is best if you're looking for a facility where you just want to leave your money muna, iwan mo muna dyan, and kailangan mo siya in the short term, let's say within a year, and you don't want that money to be just lying around. Kumbaga gusto mong kumita yan kahit papano. So ito po, magandang product for those with that kind of need. In fact, if I may mention, marami po sa mga nakikita naming investors, usually yung ginagawa nila, maglalagay po sila ng pera sa COL, but they don't invest right away. So hindi po nila alam siguro kung saan ilalagay agad yung pera. So this one, may be a great facility for them while they are waiting for market opportunity. So pwedeng dyan nyo po muna iwan yung pera nyo. So that's what money market funds are. Now, the next type of mutual fund is what we call the bond funds. Ito pong bond funds, as the name suggests, ito po ay invested sa mga corporate or government bonds. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na fixed income securities or investments. So, para sa mga hindi masyadong familiar, bonds or fixed income securities, these are investments where you are lending to a party. Nagpapautang po tayo sa either government or sa isang kumpanya. So, imagine nyo po if Ayala has a corporate bond and nag-invest ka dun sa corporate bond na yon, ibig sabihin po, pinapautang nyo si Ayala. Now, dun sa government, yung fixed income investment na yan, ito po yung naririnig natin na treasury bills or treasury notes. So pag yan po yung pinaglagyan nyo ng pera, nagpapautang po tayo sa gobyerno. Okay? Now, ang maganda po sa bond fund, it allows you to invest in these securities na hindi po kailangan na masyadong malaki yung capital ninyo. Kasi if you're going to invest in a corporate or in a government bond, usually it will require hundreds of thousands or millions of pesos to access them. So sa bond funds, hindi po ganun yung requirement. So yun po yung maganda dyan. And this is a great investment for people na naghahanap ng facility or vehicle na hindi masyadong risky, at the same time it will give them decent returns. So in fact, last year po itong bond funds, sila po yung best performing type ng mutual fund. They were able to give investors anywhere between 5 to 10% of return. Okay? The third type of mutual fund is what we call an equity fund. So ito pong equity, siguro mas marami rin yung familiar with dito. So pag sinabi po nating equity, naglalagay po yan ng pera sa stock market. So equities or stocks, yan po yung pinag-uusapan natin. By the way, we usually use equities and stocks interchangeably. So pag narinig nyo po yung dalawang salita na yan, they mean one and the same. Okay? So itong equity fund, ang mangyayari dito, since meron nga pong fund manager or expert na hahawak ng pera nyo, siya na po yung bahala mamili ng mga kumpanya sa stock market kung saan ilalagay yung ating pera. So this is best for you if you want to earn high returns over a long period of time. So ganyan po talaga sa stock market. Dapat matagal na panahon yung pagtingin natin. So we're talking about more than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years. So that's how you will use this type of fund. And then finally, we have what we call a balance fund. So ito pong balance fund, it's actually a combination of the previous two types of mutual funds, yung bond fund tsaka yung equity fund. So pinagsasama niya, pinaghahalo niya yung stocks at tsaka bonds. So para ito sa mga tao na gusto magkaroon ng exposure sa stock market, gusto po nila yung growth sa stock market, but at the same time, ayaw po nila na lahat ng pera nandun kasi nga medyo magalaw yung stock market. So, ang ginagawa nitong balance fund, naglalagay din siya dun sa bonds which are less risky compared sa stocks. Okay? So, yan po yung apat na uri ng mutual fund, the money market fund, bond fund, equity fund, and balance fund. Now, I'd like to talk about this particular type of mutual fund, which for us here at COL, it's actually the best type of mutual fund to grow your money over a long period of time. So this is an equity fund but a special type. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na equity index fund. Now, let's talk about this. What is an equity index fund? It is actually a type of mutual fund na invested din po sa equities kasi nandun naman sa pangalan niya. But this time around, the equities kung saan nag invest yung fund are those that are included in what we call the index. In this case po, yung index na pinapatungkulan natin is actually the Philippine Stock Exchange Index or the PSEI. Okay? So yan po yung equity index fund. Now, kanina pa po akong nagsasabi about stocks, about equities, and I understand some of you may be starters pa lang, beginning pa lang, magsa-start pa lang kayo with your investment journey, beginners pa lang kayo. So, let me give you a quick overview. Ano ba tong equities? Ano ba tong stocks? And for the rest, siguro let's review. So, when we say equity or stocks, we are actually pertaining to shares of a company. So, ibig sabihin, nakikibakas po kayo sa negosyo ng isang kumpanya. So in this example, sa slide po natin, let's suppose there are 10,000 shares available sa isang company and let's say you own 1,000 shares. Ibig sabihin po, you have a 10% stake in that company. So whatever the value of that company is, whatever the profits or earnings of that company is, 10% of that will go to you. No? So yan po yung investment ninyo. And when we talk about stocks, equities, we are talking about stocks that are listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Ibig sabihin po, kahit sinong investor, publicly available companies po ito, pwede po silang maglagay ng pera sa mga kumpanya nito. Okay? And right now in the Philippine Stock Exchange, we have around 270 companies that are listed. So ganun po karami yung pwede niyong pagpilian, paglagyan ng pera. But sa 270 companies out there that are available, meron po diyang group of the 30 largest, most valuable, most traded companies. And ito po actually yung bumubuo ng PSE index. Now, let's take a look at some of the companies included in the index. So you see here, you have BPI, you have Ayala, you have PLDT, you have SM, you have Globe, URC, Pure Gold, JG Summit, Meralco. So these are household companies, established companies that have been operating for a long period of time. So merong track record itong mga to. That's why they are the largest stocks in the Philippines. And ito pong PSEI or PSE index, ang significance po kasi niyan is if anybody would want to know what's happening to the stock market, ito po yung tinitignan nila because this serves as an indicator or barometer pagdating sa health, overall health or direction ng ating stock market. So sila po yung representatives natin. Now, if you take a look at the track record of the Philippine Stock Exchange Index or PSCI, very remarkable from 1987 all the way to end of 2019. So we're reviewing here the calendar years ng track record ng PSEI. That's a return of almost 1,700%. So if you think about it, gaano karami yung investments out there available that would give you this kind of return. No, hindi ganun karami. And the stock market is one of that. Okay? And ang kailangan ma-realize po natin dito is yes, there may be cycles in the stock market. So nakikita nyo po dito sa chart, if I may highlight it, meron pong paggalaw yan, umaakyat, bumababa, umaakyat ulit, then bababa, aakyat. That's how the stock market moves in over a short period of time. In fact, ito nga po with the recent pandemic that happened sa COVID-19, bumaba po yung stock market natin. Noong March, umabot po tayo sa as low as 4,100. But just today, nag-close po yung ating Philippine Stock Exchange Index at 6,500 level. So talagang sa maikling panahon, nagbabago po yung galaw niyan. But over a long period of time, you have to understand and remember that businesses are built to grow their profits over time. And the best way to participate in that growth is to actually hold on to your money sa stock market. Kumbaga, we look at it from a long-term perspective. Okay? Now, ito pong PSEI, ito pong index stocks na sinasabi ko, yan po mismo yung laman ng equity index fund. And that's why we tell you, it's actually the best way to grow your money in the long run. And let me give you 4 reasons why it's actually the best way. Number one reason is you will be able to grow your money effortlessly. Napakagandang benefit po nito kasi hindi po lahat sa atin merong capability to monitor what's happening to the market, or we may be just really busy with our jobs or our responsibilities at home. So, hindi natin nababantayan yung stock market, but at the same time, we may want to participate in it. Ang kagandahan ng equity index fund, ulitin po natin, it actually copies the performance of the PSEI. You'll be able to ride the growth of the PSEI without doing so much. So let's say historically, the PSE index returned 10% from 2009 to 2019. Kung invested ka sa isang equity index fund, you would have gotten the same returns. In fact, talagang historically, actual figures po ito. Makikita natin sa slide na to na yung returns ng equity index funds, they really mirror yung returns ng Philippine Stock Exchange Index. So parang nakasakay ka lang dyan, the stock market continues to grow over time, and kasama ka dun without doing so much. That's why we tell people, if this is the investment where you will put your money in, you actually don't need to do research anymore pagdating sa pamimili ng iba-ibang companies. Kasi it's quite important that if you're going to invest in stocks, you have to know where your money is going. So ikaw yung mamimili ng companies dyan, dapat you're sure that that company really has a good track record, merong growth trajectory siya dyan. So pag-aaralan mo ng konti yan. So this time, if you put your money in an equity index fund, wala na po yun. Kasi nga, nandun ka na automatic sa top 30 companies ng PSEI. And no need to monitor the market. Like I said, a lot of you may be busy, especially during the market hours. So yung stock market po, open po yan today from 9:30 hanggang 1 p.m. So some of you during those hours may be busy with other stuff. So hindi nyo po nababantayan yung stock market. So baka ito po yung pwedeng makasagot dun sa inyong problema if you want to participate in the stock market without having to monitor it. And because you are invested, again, in different companies, top 30 companies in the PSEI, no need to actively manage your portfolio. Ibig sabihin po, hindi nyo kailangan na buy and sell na iba-ibang kumpanya just to invest in the stock market. Reason number two po, why it's actually the best way to grow your money over a long period of time. When you invest in an equity index fund, automatic po nag-i-invest na kayo sa 30 companies gaya ng sinabi natin. And if you have more stocks, more often than not, that would mean that you are actually getting less risk. Take note po, we're not saying here na zero risk or eliminated na po yung risk natin. Ang sinasabi po kasi natin dito is, it's a good practice that you put your money in different companies or investments so that you avoid na yung pera mo nakatali sa isang investment na baka hindi mag-perform. That's precisely what we call diversification. So ito pong top 30 companies na napapabilang dun sa Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Ang kagandahan po niyan is if you take a look at the landscape, they all belong to different sectors. 6 na sectors po. So you have the property group. So nandyan po yung Ayala Land, SM Prime, Mega World. And then you also have the holdings group. Nandyan naman po yung SM Investments Corporation, si Ayala Corporation, Metro Pacific, Aboitiz, and then meron kang services, that's where you have Globe, PLDT, may mining and oil, meron kang industrials, may financial. So different companies operating in different industries, you'll be able to own them right away by putting your money in an equity index fund. Ang maganda po dyan is it will allow you to, as we've said, minimize a lot of risks. Number one, yung sinasabi po natin na risk of changing consumption behavior. Lalo na po kung ikukumpara natin yung equity index fund. Let's say sa isang company lang na paglalagyan mo ng pera. Pwede kasing mangyari, just to give you an actual example, PLDT. PLDT used to be the largest company in the Philippines in terms of market valuation, and lahat po tayo back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, yan po yung mode of telecommunication natin. We use fixed lines, di ba, landline. And then suddenly, we all shifted to digital, mobile data. So medyo na-challenge yung kanyang position as a market leader and as the most valuable company in the Philippines. So kung hindi ka mag-act dun sa changes na yan, maaaring you get stuck holding on to an investment na hindi na magpe-perform over time. Ang kagandahan po sa equity index fund, again, ang dami pong companies na pagmamay-ari mo operating in different industries. So, you minimize the risk of owning a company na nagbago na yung business model niya. Parang ang isipin niyo po dyan, parang nagsasaluhan yan. Kung merong isa na hindi maganda yung performance niya, sasaluhin po yan ng ibang kumpanya. For example, ito pong pandemic, may mga tinamaan na companies like banks or properties, maaaring hindi ganun kaganda yung performance nila. Pero meron ka namang retail like Pure Gold, Robinsons, na sila po yung tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung demand kasi nga basic needs, basic goods yung kailangan natin. And obviously, Globe and PLDT, ayan, patok yung negosyo nila because of the arrangement today. Aside from that, since nandun po tayo naka-invest sa top 30 companies, you also minimize the risk of investing in a badly managed company. Kasi when you think about it, for you to become part of the top 30, that must mean that the management behind it is really solid. So naiiwasan po natin na nandun tayo sa mga companies na hindi masyadong sigurado tayo when it comes to track record o baka fly by night yan. Okay? And finally, we also minimize the risk na merong certain regulatory changes dun sa isang kumpanya. Lalo na kung yun nga, ang comparison natin dito is you're just investing in a few companies. Ang example po natin dito is halimbawa yung recently nangyari sa ABS-CBN or end of last year yung kay Manila Water and Maynilad. So merong mga chatters, 'di ba, about changes in regulations, tatamaan po yung businesses nila. So kung yun po yung pinaglalagyan nyo ng pera, dun lang nakalagay yung pera mo, medyo mahirap. Unlike kung meron kang equity index fund, nandyan ka sa iba-ibang sectors, you minimize this kind of risk kasi nga nagsasaluhan yan. Okay? And another great thing about an equity index fund is you'll be able to buy the 30 companies without spending so much. Kasi sa totoo lang, some people have this idea na, okay, sige, bakit hindi ko na lang bilhin yung top 30 companies na yun one by one? The, the reality po kasi is, if you want to do that, you have to shell out at least 700,000 pesos just to buy and copy all the members of the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. With an equity index fund, however, you don't need 700,000 because the minimum usually is just 1,000 pesos. So imagine you'll be able to own 30 companies, the largest, the most valuable, most traded companies, just with 1,000 pesos. Yun po yung kagandahan ng equity index fund. Now, another reason why we say that it's actually the best way to grow your money over time is that you will be able to maximize the growth of your investment. Paano po yan? Yan po sa equity index fund, nakita po natin kanina, 30 yan. Let's say meron kang 30,000. Hindi po ibig sabihin niya na yung 30,000 mo, 1,000 bawat kumpanya. Doon po yung paglalagay niyan. It's not like that. What usually happens is, in an equity index fund, the more profitable companies, the more valuable companies get a higher share. So halimbawa, yung nakikita niyo po sa slide, in 2009, the share of PLDT was 23%, whereas SM was only 4.5%. But as times go by, yun nga po, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa consumption behavior, sa business model ng mga companies, nagbabago yung ranking nila. So merong mas nagiging profitable, may mas lumalaki. So in this case, by 2019, si SM po, from having 4.5% sa weight, ngayon po, it's already at 15.5%. And napaka-importante po na ma-realize natin to na ganito yung ginagawa ng equity index fund. Kasi ang kagandahan nito, without you doing anything, naglalagay po siya ng mas maraming investment, ng mas maraming weight dun sa growing companies. Yung SM po, halimbawa, noong 2009, ang presyo po niya was only 250. Okay? And as we've discussed in the previous slide, yung weight po niya about 4%. By 2019, yung weight po niya 15%. Take a look at the stock price. It already gone up to as high as 1,100. So imagine po kung 4% lang yung nakalagay na pera mo, tapos umakyat from 250 to 1,100, hindi mo masyadong mararamdaman. But again, with what the index fund did na automatic, naglagay po siya ng pera dun sa mas stronger, better performing company, mas na-enjoy mo yung returns kasi lumaki yung share niya. Take a look at PLDT on the other hand. It used to have 23% of the entire index weight. But by 2019, it was down to 3%. Kasi po, tingnan natin, yung stock price niya, 2,500 pesos before. Now, it's down to about 1,000 pesos. So imagine nyo po, kung hindi binabago-bago yung weightings, yung amount na nilalagay dito sa investment, isipin nyo na lang po, from 2,500 to 1,000, medyo malaking loss po yan. No? So, again, yan po yung importansya na merong recalibration na sinasabi. And sa equity index fund, again, no need to actively manage your investment, no need to monitor the market, no need to research on companies because it's automatic. Ginagawa po yan, the rankings are being reviewed twice a year and automatic, wala na po kayong kailangan gawin. And finally, the number four reason why we believe that an equity index fund is the best way for you to grow your money over a long period of time is that you get a lot of savings. So ito po, marami pong hindi nakakaalam ng mga factual information na ito. But these are benefits that you get if you put your money in an equity index fund kumpara kung ikaw lang yung nag invest on your own. Unang-una po, you actually get tax-free dividends. Now, yung dividends po, for those who are not familiar, these are cash distributions or bonuses coming from companies. So pag maganda yung earnings nila, they want to share it to the investors, nagde-declare po sila ng dividend. Now, if the mutual fund is invested in a company and let's say yung company na yun nag-distribute ng 20,000 pesos worth of dividend, wala pong tax na ibabawas dun sa makukuha ng mutual fund. So the whole 20,000 pesos will be received by the mutual fund. Whereas if let's say individual investor ka, ikaw yung may-ari mismo nung company na nag-declare ng dividend, what will happen is it will get taxed at 10%. So babawasan po ng 10%. So instead of getting 20,000, you only get 18,000 pesos. Now, what's more is that sa mutual fund, not only do you get a tax-free dividend, but also yung dividend na yan, automatic po nire-reinvest yan. Ibig sabihin, binabalik yan sa fund, ini-invest po kaagad sa iba-ibang companies na nasa stock market. And over time, yung ganitong dynamics po, that will result in a very big disparity. As opposed kung halimbawa, nakakakuha ka nga ng dividend, pero may tax, tapos hindi mo naman nire-reinvest. So, if you take a look at this chart, over a 20-year period, that would translate to 150% difference. So that's a very great benefit for those who are investing in a mutual fund. So hindi mo na kailangan alalahanin saan ko ba gagamitin itong dividend na nakuha ko, baka ipang shopping ko lang or whatever. So sa mutual fund po, automatic, it will be reinvested without any taxes pa. Okay? So that's the first kind of savings na pwede nyo pong makuha dito sa mutual fund. Aside from that, in general, you may also pay less fees if you put your money in a mutual fund. Sa mutual fund po, meron po tayong babayaran dyan na tinatawag nating management fee, and that's what we pay to the fund manager or the expert who is handling our investments. Sa kaso po ng index funds or equity index fund, usually that's around 1.5% annual fee. All-in cost na po yan. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng costs in running the fund na siningil sa mga investor, kadalasan nandyan po sa range na yan, 1.5%. And let's say you have a 200,000 peso investment. So kung 1.5% po yung singil, that would translate to 2,500 pesos as a fee. Okay? Let's compare. If you are going to do the investing on your own, what will happen is every time you buy and sell, yung round trip po ninyo, ang cost po niyan is 1.19%. So, i-round off na po natin to 1.2%. And let's say you trade 5 times within a year. So, if you're paying 1.2% for the 200,000 peso investment, that would translate to 6,000 pesos. And now, let's say you're more active than that, 10 times ka nagtitrade. Then you pay more. You will have to shell out 12,000 pesos of your capital. Okay? So over a long period of time, itong cost na to, they also add up if you don't watch them. In fact, halimbawa, yung nasi-save mo sa fees kasi nga hindi ka masyadong magalaw, hindi ka masyado nagbabayad ng kung ano, no. Let's say nasa equity index fund ka and you were able to avoid paying 10,000 pesos more per year. And yung savings na yun, yung 10,000 na yan, let's say nire-reinvest mo. Okay? So over a long period of time, that would amount to a sum of money na significant. So in this case, that's 450,000 na dapat pinambayad mo lang sa cost. This time around, napunta pa sa'yo. Okay? And like I said, lower fees, they make a big difference, especially over a long period of time. So example po natin kanina, 1.5%. Again, parang isipin niyo po yan, parang flat rate yan. Let's say pumasok ka sa isang parking, for the entire day, yun lang po yung sisingilin sa inyo. Whereas yung 1.2%, yan po kada trade nyo po. So parang variable cost yan. Pwede kang masingil ng masingil dyan. Okay? Depending on your activity. So, if you compare, sabihin na natin na doble lang yung cost mo when you're investing, it will amount to a 27% difference over a 20-year period. So, ang takeaway na sinasabi lang po natin dito is lower fees, talagang they will really make a big dent over a long period of time. And maganda po sa equity index fund, yun nga, hindi po ganun kalaki yung charges usually na sinisingil dyan and flat na po siya. Yun lang talaga yung mababawa sa inyo. Okay? So just to recap, the reasons why we say that yung equity index fund po is actually the best way to grow your money over a long period of time. So pinag-usapan po natin, number one, it will allow you to grow your money effortlessly without so much effort or emphasis sa stock market monitoring, sa pagpili ng mga companies, you get to invest right away in the top 30 largest, most valuable companies. And again, in doing so, you are able to minimize your risk kasi nga you have more stocks. So naiwasan po natin na nandun tayo sa mga stocks that are not performing or yung medyo may regulatory risk or nagbago na yung business model. And then we also talked about yung pag-maximize ng growth sa equity index fund through reinvestments, di ba? Through yung pagbigay niya ng emphasis sa mass growing companies, 'di ba? So nilalagyan niya ng weight yung mga mas nagpe-perform na companies and then finally you get to have a lot of savings which over a long period of time would add up and become more favorable for you. Okay. So with that, truly, we can say that the best way to grow our money is by putting our money in an index fund. So we always tell people, if you're the type of investor na gusto mo ilagay yung pera mo sa stock market but medyo marami kang limitations in terms of yung time, yung knowledge, yung familiarity mo with companies, this is a great start for you. Ito pong equity index fund. And aside from the equity index fund, syempre pinag-usapan po natin yung iba pang uri ng mutual funds. Nandyan yung money market, bond, balance fund. Yan po, pwede nyo pong pagsabay-sabayin yan. Depende nga sa gamit ninyo. So like I said, let's say you are just starting out with your investment journey. You're not yet sure saan ko ilalagay yung pera ko. Medyo naghihintay ka pa ng opportunity to go in, pwedeng ilagay mo muna sa money market fund yan. Or let's say meron kang pera na nilagay sa account mo, ayaw mong lahat nandun sa equity index fund. So what you can do is, okay, I'll put 80% of my portfolio in an equity index fund, then 20% dito tayo sa bond fund. Okay? So you can do a lot of things. Depende po sa goals ninyo, sa gusto ninyong paggamitan ng inyong pera. Okay? Now, having said all of those, I think ang question natin is, now, if I want to invest in mutual funds, saan ba ako pupunta? The great news po is, sa COL, if you already have an account with us, you can already invest in mutual funds. So, ibig sabihin lang po, para sa mga kliyente natin, kung meron kang COL account, hindi nyo na po kailangan mag-create ng panibago or gumawa ng isa pang account. You only need one account, you'll be able to invest in mutual funds and in stocks. For those of you na wala pa pong COL account, pwede po kayong magbukas online. You can just go to the signup.colfinancial.com. Okay? Now, sa COL po, ang kagandahan niyan, if you're going to buy mutual funds through us, kasi marami pong ibang paraan kung paano bumili ng mutual funds, ano? But if you do it through COL, number one, we don't charge you anything. Wala po tayo ng tinatawag natin na front-end fees or sales load. Kadalasan po, if you want to invest in a mutual fund, what will happen is, merong i-charge sa'yo 1% or 0.5% dun sa investment amount mo. So babawasin yun, and then kung ano yung matira, yun lang po yung mapupunta sa mutual fund of your choice. Dito po sa COL, no such thing. Whatever amount you will invest in the mutual fund of your choice, yun po yung magiging investment ninyo. At the same time, sa COL po ang maganda, we are actually what we call a funds supermarket. Ibig sabihin po, we have different mutual funds from different brands or fund houses na pwede nyo pong pagpilian. So with the power of choice, you'll be able to compare and see sino ba talaga yung pinakamaganda dyan. Okay, so currently sa COL fund source po, we have 5 partners. So nandyan po si ATR Asset Management, nandyan po si BPI Investment Management, si First Metro Asset Management, si Phil Equity Management, and finally Sun Life Asset Management. So these are the fund houses whose products are available sa aming platform. And then it's very convenient. Lahat po ngayon ng investments ninyo, mutual funds or stocks, online po yan sa COL. So I think this is a very ideal arrangement during these times na we try to avoid physical contact, di ba? Medyo new normal na po tayo. So sa COL, you will still be able to put your money at work online po at the tips of your finger. Okay? And then definitely we provide you support and guidance. So meron po kami mga literatures that we share through the website. Meron po kami mga regular reports na pwede nyo pong tingnan if you want to get updated about some mutual funds. And if there are any concerns or things that we can help, you can always reach us out at helpdesk@colfinancial.com. And then finally, sa COL po, not only do we make investing convenient, but we actually make it much simpler through what we call our automated investing facility. So para po dun sa mga gustong regularly nag invest, and that is very important po. Sa COL po, may facility kami na magagamit nyo po without any cost, and that will allow you to invest regularly in the mutual fund that you choose. Okay? Now, sa COL po, since we were talking about equity index funds quite extensively, meron po kayong right now tatlong available equity index fund na mapagpipilian dyan. So, nandyan po yung PhilEquity PSC Index Fund, nandyan po yung Sun Life Prosperity Philippine Stock Index Fund, and finally, we have the Philippine Stock Index Fund. So, makikita nyo po dito at the bottom of the slide, yung minimum amounts na required nila. So, if it's initial, so meron po tayong dalawa dyan na 1,000 lang. So like I said, you'll be able to buy 30 largest companies with that amount of money. So Phil Equity and Sun Life. And then si ALFM, yung Philippine Stock Index Fund niya, 5,000 yung minimum initial. Then the additional amounts are there. So as low as 500. Now usually tinatanong po ako ng mga tao, Sir, dyan sa pagpipilian ko, what is actually the best index fund? Sabihin mo na lang sa akin. What I always tell people is, actually, any of those index funds na nakikita mo, paglagyan mo ng pera, okay na yan. Kasi you have to remember, they contain the same investment. And in fact, kung titingnan nyo po yung track record ng mga index funds na to, halos pare-parehas din po yung returns nila. So I tell you, talagang ang importante dito is you own at least one of the index funds that you see. Okay? Now, very soon po, hindi pa namin ina-announce ito, but we'll actually have our own version of an equity index fund, yung COL Equity Index Fund. So, wala pa po tayong details actually dito, but very soon this will become available and we'll be able to share kung pwede na po na mag-invest sa COL Equity Index Fund pagka nakuha na po natin yung licenses dyan. Okay? Now, if you already have a COL account and if you want to buy any mutual fund or particularly an equity index fund, these are the steps that you will need to do. So unang-una po, when you log in, may makikita po kayo at the upper right-hand corner of the page na mutual fund tab. So just go to that tab, click that one, and then mapupunta po kayo sa isa pang website, sa COL Sponsors website. And then what you do is you click the order entry button. When you click the order entry button, may lalabas po dyan na table and you have to fill out just two details. Ano po yung fund code? So, pag clinic nyo po yan, lalabas dyan yung lahat ng available mutual funds sa COL and then ilalagay nyo lang po yung account ninyo. Once you do that, you will just enter your password, place your order, that's it po. So, you usually just wait for one business day and the order will be processed already. Okay? And ito po, once you have already invested in a mutual fund, nakabili na kayo ng mutual fund, what I want to actually encourage you to do is to regularly invest. Kumbaga, when we do this, it's not going to be a one-time investment lang. So we're going to do it regularly, consistently over a period of time. That's a very good practice po talaga. That's how you will be able to build wealth through mutual funds. So sa COL po, we have what we call the Easy Investment Program Facility. So ang kagandahan po nito, yung kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, you can set a schedule for yourself, an automated schedule for yourself. Pipiliin mo lang yung fund na binili mo, magkano yung gusto mong i-invest, and gaano kadalas. So whether monthly po, weekly, or quarterly, or even yearly. And then, pipiliin mo gaano katagal. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then best of all, as I was saying, you can set it as automatic. If that is the case, kahit po makalimutan ninyo, you're so busy with your work, with family responsibilities, okay lang po kasi yung system will invest on your behalf. So tuloy-tuloy lang po yung pag invest ninyo. And don't underestimate this kind of discipline, yung regularly ginagawa yung pag invest even if maliit lang po yung amount na pinag-uusapan natin. Because I want to share this with you. If you do it regularly, you will really be able to enjoy sums of money over a long period of time. Let's say 1 million, that's the goal that you want to achieve. If we're talking about a long period of time, sabihin po natin na 20 years sa equity index fund or sa stock market, you could only need to set aside 1,500 pesos. And I think that's quite doable for many of people na meron namang trabaho, may pinagkukunan sila ng pera. So that's something na pwede talagang magawa regularly over a period of time, whether it's for the retirement, long-term goals like education, college education ng mga anak nila, whatever that may be. That's how you can achieve it, no, by doing investing regularly. And then obviously, if you increase your investments, yung regular investments, let's say hindi lang 1,500, let's say you do it at 5,000 pesos every month, you'll be able to get to 3 million pesos. No? And if it's even higher, 8,000 pesos every month, you can actually reach as high as 5 million pesos. Okay? So ito po, based lang po yan sa historical track record ng stock market. Okay? Definitely, we're not saying na sure po yan, guaranteed returns. You have to understand that when you're investing, there are many variables na pwedeng magbago-bago yung takbo sa maikling panahon, kagaya ng pinag-usapan natin sa stock market. But if you do it over a long period of time, do it regularly, you will be able to reach your financial goals. Okay, so with that, thank you very much, and I hope you've learned a lot about mutual funds, and I hope I was able to share some insights kung paano po matutulungan kayo sa inyong investment journey. Keep safe, everyone, and happy investing.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Mark, for that presentation. I'm sure maraming natutunan yung ating mga participants for today. And we also got um, questions from them. So, for the
Okay,
first
sure.
question, Sir Mark, ano daw ba yung difference between a mutual fund and yung UITF na ino-offer sa banks?
Okay, that's a great question, Lorraine. Ano? Alam mo, parati nating nakukuha yan eh. Yung UITF po, para sa mga hindi nakakalam, this is what we call yung Unit Investment Trust Fund. Now, ang mutual fund and ang UITF,
Mm-hmm.
parehas lang po sila in terms of design and objective. As we've discussed in this webinar, yung ginagawa ng mutual fund is it pulls together money of different people. Sa UITF, it's also the same case. Ngayon, ang pagkakaiba lang po niyan is si UITF and mutual fund, they have different regulators. So si mutual fund, si SEC po yung nagre-regulate dyan, whereas sa UITF, we are talking about Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. And then, in terms of participation, ayan, ito importante na malaman natin. Sa UITF po, ang form of participation dito is units. So pagka naglagay ka ng pera dito, yun yung i-issue sa'yo as proof of ownership. Whereas sa mutual fund, as we've discussed, ang ibibigay po sa inyo dito ay shares. Okay? So those are some of the salient differences between the two. But by and large, in terms of design, in terms of objective, parehas po yung ginagawa ng UITF and mutual fund. If the question is, and usually I also get this question, which is actually better between the two, mutual fund or UITF? The answer actually is not straightforward. Kasi po, it depends on the type of the mutual fund or UITF, and it also depends on the company behind the management ng mga funds na yon. So wala tayong direct answer na okay, mas maganda talaga yung mutual fund, mas maganda yung UITF. What you have to understand is they operate the same kind of model. Okay? Pinagsasama yung pera ng mga tao, a fund manager would invest that money into different investments.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Sir Mark. Now, next question. If I will need my money in 3 to 5 years, what fund do you recommend?
Okay, if it's 3 to 5 years, certainly hindi ideal na stock market yan. I would say that, okay? But ang pwede mong gawin is, if you still want to participate in the stock market, na ganun lang yung time horizon mo, what you can do is don't put everything in the stock market. Okay? So, yan po yung tinatawag natin na balanced strategy. Dito pumapasok yung balance fund. Kasi nga, yung sa balance fund, kung maaalala natin, meron kang portion dyan na nasa stock market, meron kang portion dyan na nandun sa bond. Okay? So, pwede mong ma-manage yung short-term risks ng stock market, yung paggalaw-galaw niya, by combining yung bonds and stocks. So you can do it on your own. So ibig sabihin pwedeng sige 10 or 20% lang ng pera ko nasa equity index fund and then the rest I will put it in a bond fund or money market fund. So that way nababalance ko yung growth orientation ko with the time horizon limitation na 3 to 5 years. And kung medyo yung risk appetite mo is mababa talaga, so ibig sabihin hindi mo kayang ma-stomach yung up and down movements sa stock market, with that kind of horizon, you can also check out yung bond funds. So kung 3 to 5 years, pwede rin yung bond funds dyan. Magandang paglagyan din ng pera yan.
Okay. So ito naman, thank you Sir Mark. Speaking of yung bond funds natin, you also mentioned kasi na yung bond funds, maganda yung naging performance nila from last year. So I think na curious yung isa nating client. He's asking when is it okay to buy yung bond funds?
Okay, when is it okay? I think yung assumption ng question is a timing issue, no? So, kailan
Mm-hmm.
ba okay bumili ng bonds or hindi?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in general, no, in whatever type of mutual fund, as long as the time horizon is clear to you, as long as the risk profile ng mutual fund is clear to you, you can buy anytime. Now, in general, bond funds po, they will perform better if interest rates are falling. And that is actually the case right now. So I would say if naghahanap ka talaga ng investment na hindi ganun kataas yung risk level niya, at the same time, kahit papano you'll be able to earn decent rates, you can invest in any bond fund anytime.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Mark. And then next question naman about money market funds naman. Mas better daw ba ang money market funds than time deposits?
Okay, yeah, generally speaking, the answer is yes. Why so? Balikan po natin yung principle ng mutual fund, yung sinasabi nating strength in numbers. Sa time deposit kasi, as an individual, yung makukuha mong returns or rate dyan is actually a function of the amount of money that you have. So in other words, pag mas malaki po yung pera nyo, mas malaki yung balance nyo, chances are mabibigyan ka ng mas magandang returns or rates sa time deposit. Problem is, paano kung maliit lang pera mo? So obviously, yung pinakamababang rate yung makukuha mo. Ang maganda sa mutual fund, as we've discussed, pinagsasama yung pera ng iba-ibang tao dyan. And let me tell you, sa money market funds, ang amount na nako-collect nila dito from different investors, it runs into billions. And with the billions of pesos that they have, they'll be able to get better rates from time deposits. So as an investor, you can participate in better rates through money market funds.
Okay, sir. And then earlier you also showed yung different types of equity index funds, including yung coming soon na COL equity index fund. So, one client is asking kung pwede daw ba siyang mag-invest in all three um equity index funds.
Yeah, definitely pwede mong gawin yan if you have the money talaga to diversify across different companies. But if halimbawa yung question is mas effective ba yan na tatlo kaysa sa isa, again, you
Mm-hmm.
have to remember yung laman ng mga investments na yan, pare-parehas. Okay? So, para sa akin personally, I'll be okay with just one equity index fund. But if you want to diversify across three, that's fine. You can definitely do it. And again, ang kagandahan po ng COL account nyo, pwede nyo magawa lahat yan online and in just one account. Okay? I forgot to mention kanina, Lorraine, aside
Mm-hmm.
from the three equity index funds, yung lahat ng available mutual fund rather dito sa COL, it's
Mm-hmm.
about 30, no? So ganyan karami po yung pwede nyong mabili through your COL account.
Okay. So marami silang pagpipilian talaga.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so next question naman, do the equity index funds charge clients separately?
Okay, so yung binanggit ko po kanina na sa index funds, generally speaking, you will just pay lower fees. Meron
Mm-hmm.
po tayong tinatawag na management fee as I mentioned. So usually it's a fixed percent na yan. So anywhere between 1% to 1.5%. And what happens is it's a yearly cost yan. So 1% per annum. So, and what happens is china-charge po nila yan every single day. So hindi mo nararamdaman yan kasi what they do is they actually deduct yung fee na yan dun sa price ng mutual fund. So yung price ng mutual fund, ito po yung tinatawag natin na net asset value per share or NAV-PS. So I mentioned earlier yung proof or of participation nyo po sa mutual fund ay shares. Yung shares na yan, para malaman mo kung ano yung halaga, meron kang NAV-PS dyan. Yun yung presyo niya. And yung presyo na yon na nakikita mo, bawas na lahat ng fees na sinisingil ng mutual fund. So to answer the question, wala po yung separate billing or i-charge sa inyo sa account ninyo uh, on a specific date. Wala pong ganun. No? So every day po, bawas na po yan dun sa presyo na nakikita ninyo.
Mm, okay. Next question. Can I pull out my investment from mutual funds anytime?
Okay, that's another great question. No?
Mm.
Pwede pong i-pull out yan anytime. You can sell it anytime. But just take note, there are mutual funds na meron po tayong tinatawag na holding period. Ano po itong holding period? This is the time period where if you decide to sell your money, pwede kang ma-charge ng exit fee or early redemption fee. Now,
Mm.
kadalasan po sa mutual fund, ang holding period nila, it ranges between 90 days to 180 days. So, ibig sabihin po, 3 months to 6 months. Let's say nag-invest ka sa isang mutual fund and after 1 month, gusto mong ibenta kasi may nangyari, may emergency, whatsoever. Pwede mo ibenta yan anytime. But if it's not yet beyond the holding period, halimbawa 3 months, matcha-charge ka lang ng 1%, ganyan. So may exit fee. But definitely you can sell it anytime.
Mm, okay. So next question. What's the ideal mutual fund percentage in a portfolio?
Okay, that's another great question, no? Kasi sa COL po, again, you have to remember, we are a platform where you can buy both stocks and mutual funds. Now, parati kong nakukuha ng tanong na to, Sir, ilang percent ba dapat inasa mutual fund, ilang percent yung stocks? The answer at the end of the day will depend on your circumstance. Ako kasi, think of three factors in your life. Number one, yung time na pwede mong i-devote sa pagtingin sa stock market. If hindi ganun karami yan, busy ka talaga, then that only means na mas malaking percent dapat yung nandun sa mutual fund. Okay? The second aspect is yung knowledge or familiarity mo with the stock market. Gaano ka
Mm.
ka familiar ka ba with the companies? Gaano ka confident ka na you can really choose the right investments? Kung medyo may experience ka na talaga, alam mo na yung ginagawa mo, then certainly you can devote more allocation sa stocks. But kung nagsisimula ka pa lang, I would highly suggest you put more in mutual funds. Kung pwede nga 100%, dun ka muna. Then finally, yung pangatlong factor is the amount of money that you have. If you're starting with a small amount of money, I would highly suggest lagay mo muna most of it sa mutual fund. As we've discussed, lalo na sa equity index fund, diversified yan, 30 companies agad, you'll be able to buy it even with 1,000 pesos. Kung ganun yung amount of money that you have, it's practically impossible for you to buy many companies operating in different industries. And medyo risky yun. Kasi nga, pinag-usapan natin, pwedeng magbago yung consumption behavior, may regulatory risk. So, depending on those three factors, you can decide mas malaki ba dapat sa stocks, mas malaki sa mutual fund. But ako, personally, halimbawa, I put 70% of my money in mutual funds, equity index fund, because of its convenience, of how wonderful it is based on the reasons na diniscuss natin. Parang napakadaling investment lang talaga niya na hindi ko na kailangan isipin. And
Mm.
at the same time, I'm able to participate in the significant growth na pinoprovide ng stock market.
Mhm. Okay. So, thank you, Sir Mark. And then, another question. Ito, madalas din nakukuha natin sa seminars.
Mhm.
Naka-contract din ba ito? Example, 5 years. And then, after nun, I can invest ulit dun yung kikitain ko. And in relation to this din, sir, yung, I think, when we encourage them with the EIP, they are also concerned, what if may ma-miss sila na, like, hindi sila nakapaglagay doon sa EIP nila? What will happen? May penalty ba? Yun.
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, yung question na yan, siguro ang iniisip niya yung tipong maturity na para ba
Mm.
tong time deposit or yun nga,
Mm.
may contract, may savings na after 30 days, kailangan i-roll over or whatever. Ang sagot po dyan is wala pong ganyan sa mutual fund. Ang mutual fund po parang stocks or any other investment, it's actually up to you as to how long iiwan mo dyan. So, pwede pong forever kung gusto ninyo. So, talagang walang ano dyan, time limit dyan.
Mm.
And with regard to the EIP schedule naman, let's say gusto mo sana regular talaga every month but nakamiss ka na isang schedule, wala pong kaso yan. Walang charges, walang
Mm.
penalties. It's just that sayang yung opportunity. No? As I was mentioning
Mm.
kanina, we don't underestimate yung discipline of doing it regularly. Kasi kahit maliit na amount lang yan, kung lagi mong ginagawa over time, it will add up. So kung ma-miss mo, sayang lang, sayang lang. But definitely, wala namang penalties whatsoever.
Mhm, okay. So next, siguro down to our last two questions na din. So, yung second to the last, why is there a significant difference in the NAV PS of different mutual funds?
Okay, that's a great question, no. Ang
Mhm.
sinasabi po nung nagtanong nun is, may makikita po kayo yung iba ang price nila nasa 1 peso lang, nasa 3 pesos, nasa 5 pesos, and then yung iba makikita nyo po may 800 pesos, 700 pesos. Actually, this question I think not only applies for mutual funds but even for stocks, no. Ang tanong sa akin lagi ng mga tao, mas okay ba na dun ako sa mas mura yun dun sa 1 peso, 2 pesos, or mas okay ba nandun ako sa mas mataas yung presyo? Actually, I tell you, the nominal price does not matter. Ibig sabihin kung whether it's 800, it's 700, it's 1 or 3, doesn't matter right now because ang mas importante po is yung growth. What do I mean by that? If it's, let's say yung price niya 800, pero yung change naman niya nasa 50, nasa 40, so as a percent, malaki pa rin po yun. Pero if it's just 1 peso, tapos yung change niya 0.001 lang, so hindi mo masyado nararamdaman. So at the end of the day, yung price na nakikita nyo actually is not so much a factor na pagdidesisyonan mo whether to put your money in this mutual fund or not. It's really the growth na ipoprovide ng mutual fund na yan. Okay? So yung reason why magkakaiba yung presyo nila, it's because yun yung nung nag-umpisa yung mutual fund, that's arbitrarily the price that they came up with. So let's say, o sige, start tayo at 500 pesos a share. Then over time, lumago to 800. Some funds, they decided, sige, 1 peso tayo. So, ganun po yun. Kaya may differences.
Mhm, okay. And then for our last question, since madami tayong mutual funds na pagpipilian, how to choose the best mutual fund for me?
Okay, how to choose the best mutual fund for you? It will depend on your goal talaga, on your needs. So, gaya ng pinag-usapan natin, babalikan ko lang. Let's say you're looking for an investment na parking facility lang, yung short-term need. Then, money market ka kagad. Hindi mo na dapat isipin yan. Hindi mo
Mhm.
pwedeng ilagay yung short-term money mo in the stock market. Okay? So, doon ka sa money market. Now, if you need an investment na medyo hindi ganun ka-ikli yung horizon mo,
Mhm.
siguro plus 1 year or 2 years, yan, pwedeng yung bond fund na yan. Kasi Kung naghahanap ka ng kahit papaano may returns pero hindi ganun kataas yung risk, diyan mo sisilipin yan. And then again, if you're looking at a long-term investment horizon, nandyan yung equity index funds or equity funds. Yan yung paglalagay mo ng pera sa stock market. And again, kagaya nung first question, you can combine the two, yung bond fund, equity fund, depende sa risk appetite mo. If the question, however, is halimbawa, yung iba-ibang fund houses, they offer the same type of mutual fund. Let's say sa bond fund, anim yung pagpipilian ko. How do I choose the right one?
Mm-hmm.
Ang pinaka-guideline na mabibigay ko po sa inyo is this. Choose a fund na mababa yung cost. That's one. And secondly, choose a fund na yung track record niya is solid. So makikita niyo po historically talagang consistent yung performance niya. And at the same time, mababa yung charge niya na fees. Yan, para sa akin, yung dalawang yan, if I see that, automatic, I will put my money in that mutual fund.
Mhm. Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Mark, for answering all the questions. And thank you everyone for sending in your questions and participating in the Q&A. Do you have any parting words, Sir Mark? Or
Yeah,
last advice to our clients?
yeah, thank you, Lorraine. I think ang pinaka gusto ko lang na takeaway ng mga tao from this webinar is that yung pag invest sometimes people think that it's complicated, but actually it's not. No? I hope I was able to impart with you yung simpler way to do it. It's just a matter of doing it. Yung kumbaga, doing some actions when it comes to investing. Okay, and once you're already investing, I hope you don't just look at it as a one-time activity. You do it regularly, consistently over a long period of time. That's how you will be able to build genuine wealth. Okay, and I hope all of you one day will reach your financial goals. So keep safe, everyone, and thank you again.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Sir Mark. And of course, if you need any assistance, we're happy to help. Just send us an email at helpdesk@callfinancial.com. And you can also follow us on our social media channels for any investing related content, guidance, and personal finance tips. It's at Call Financial for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also follow us on our YouTube page for more educational investment videos like this and our event recaps. And of course, please help us improve our future webinars by answering a 2-minute short survey that will be sent through your email. So, with that, once again, thank you for attending our webinar and happy investing, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Lorraine, and I'm here to discuss with you the 3 easy steps to open a call account online. First, ready your requirements. Second, sign up and submit. And lastly, is to fund your account. For the first step, you need one valid government issued ID with clear photo and signature. And please make sure that your valid ID is not expiring within 3 months upon the date of submission. And for those of you who are working here in the Philippines, yung mga self-employed and foreigners, you would also need a tax identification number. Now, if you are not mentioned, your TIN number can be to follow. And those of you na nagtatrabaho po dito sa Pilipinas, an SSS, GSIS, and CRN are also required. Next, an active email address and mobile number because during the start of the online application, this will be used for verification purposes. And lastly, a Philippine bank account or peso bank account, which will be used as your settlement account for future withdrawal. So in the future po, kapag nag-decide kayo na mag-withdraw ng funds from your call account, this will be credited or deposited to your registered bank account. So it's hassle-free. Now, if upon online application, wala pa po kayong Philippine bank account, your option is to pick up a check sa aming main office in Ortigas, Pasig City. Now we move on to the photo requirements. For the first photo, we need a selfie with your ID. Please be sure to remove your eyeglasses or sunglasses and to place your ID below your chin because we need to have a clear photo of your face. Next, we have the three signature samples with your ID. So you need a blank sheet of paper for this one, just like here in the example. And then yung valid ID po natin, ilagay natin on top. And yung three specimen signature natin would be below. Just make sure lang po na yung signature dito ay the same with the signature natin doon sa ating ID. Next is the back portion of your ID. This is only required for those people who will submit an ID na yung signature po ay nasa likod. For example, yung passport ID or yung PRC ID. Now, once you have successfully completed yung mga requirements po ninyo, you can now sign up and submit your application. Just go to signup.colfinancial.com and you can access it through your computers, iPad, or mobile devices. So, as mentioned, kung na-prepare po natin ahead of time yung requirements, in less than 10 minutes, matatapos nyo na po yung inyong online application. Also, as mentioned in the beginning, we would need to verify your email address during the start of the online application. So you will receive an email like this. Just click on the verify email. And next one, we will send you a text message to verify your mobile number. And you just have to key in yung inyong verification code for you to be able to proceed to fill up the online application. Now, once you have successfully completed and submitted your application, our team will verify kung talagang complete na yung inyong application and yung requirements ninyo. And once it's complete, we will send you a funding email doon sa inyong registered email address. Now, this is the funding email that you will receive. Please take note po na in order for us to activate your account, kailangan po muna natin itong i-fund. So, this contains yung ating merchant company, which is COL Financial Group Inc., and your reference or subscriber number, which is also your 8-digit call reference number, or also known as the call account number. Ang pagbabayad po or ang pagfa-fund po ng COL account, it's like bills payment lang din. So same process kapag ka po nagbabayad tayo ng bills natin, electricity or yung phone bills natin. And the last step is to fund your account. So upon funding po, ang minimum requirement is 1,000 pesos. Here are the available banks where you can do online bills payment or over the counter. Please take note lang po that AUB has no internet banking, but it's available for over the counter. And for OFWs naman, available din po ang ating overseas remittance. You can do it through BDO or iRemit. And if hindi po cash yung ipangbabayad ninyo, kung cheque po, all checks must be payable to Call Financial Group Inc. And don't forget po to include your name or yung account name po ninyo and call reference number at the back. Once you have successfully funded your account at na-receive na rin po yun ng aming system, makaka-receive na po kayo ng activation email containing your call username or account number, yung 8 digits po, and your temporary call password. Now, this email also contains details on how you can change your password kapag ka po nakapasok na kayo sa platform and how to make your first investment. So once you receive this one, you can now go to our main website, which is www.callfinancial.com, and then enter your user ID, which is your call account number, and your temporary password. Just click on login for you to be able to start your investing journey. Now, if you need further help, you can send us an email at helpdesk@callfinancial.com, or you could also follow us on our social media accounts. It's at Call Financial to get investment guidance and market updates. So that's it. I hope I was able to help you get started with your call account. Thank you very much for watching and happy investing, everyone.